Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather and I'm currently 35 weeks and 5 days pregnant. This video is going to be a 35-week pregnancy update. I usually say a quick pregnancy update, but I don't think I can say that this time. I don't think it's going to be quick. I am not feeling great physically today. My blood sugar has been a mess and I've been starving and hot and sweaty. I am very, very overwhelmed. There is so much going on, so warning ahead of time. I may get very emotional like the last video. I also might get angry and rant about the medical system. We'll just see how this goes. Let's start out with symptoms. I've been having really bad insomnia this week. I kind of wonder if it's a little bit of nesting instinct and it's just coming out in a weird way because I don't physically have the energy to get up and clean and organize like women do. So like each day I'm getting little bits done towards what needs to get done before he gets here. But then at night it's like even though I'm exhausted, I like have this mental energy going on and I can't sleep, so I end up reading until I have to get up to eat and then going to bed around 2 o'clock or a little after. Also, the restless leg has been worse, and I think that's because I'm so exhausted. It's a weird thing, like, the more tired you are, the more it happens. And it's just this really, really uncomfortable feeling, and then you get all twitchy and moody, and my legs just move, and it keeps you awake, and it's really, really annoying. Swollen hands and feet. They're not doing too bad, but at night my hands get kind of tight. They're already like really dry from it being winter and washing my hands, so it's not real comfortable, but they go down by the time I get up. I have fat feet anyways, so it's kind of hard to tell how swollen they are, but I do think that they are a little bit swollen pretty much all of the time. Now, stuffy nose. My nose is like stuffy and runny all the time anyways, but being pregnant has made that worse, and lately it's gotten worse. There was a few days where it was really bad, but I think that that may have been a reaction to my insulin because I'm not currently taking my insulin and it got better. Still real stuffy, but it was like real sticky in there and that stopped. I don't know if this is technically acid reflux because I'm not getting the burning feeling that I normally get, but I'll be sleeping and wake up like sudden panic because I'm gonna throw up, like my food's coming up, and I just sit up real quick and it goes back down. And I take a Tums and then I go back to sleep propped up. It happened like 2 nights in a row at the beginning of the week, and then it didn't happen again, so I was like, whew, you know, maybe that's done, but then last night it was bad. Stretch marks. I'd said before I had the beginning of one on my hip. I have several that are just like extensions of ones that I already had on my hips. And then I think I have one, maybe more than one, I don't know, underneath my belly. It's real hard for me to tell because I can't see under there. I try taking a mirror and holding it under there and looking, but then the mirror is under my belly, so I can't really see the mirror either. I feel like I need like a complex system of mirrors that reflect off of each other and then up to my face so I can actually see what's happening. I feel like the same thing like when I'm shaving. Oh, that's getting real hard. But yeah, so I think I am getting at least one down there. I'm not sure. Either way, like I'm super like proud of my skin. I can't believe it's made this long without hardly anything. I've had 2 non-stress tests since the last video, and he passed both with flying colors. First one, where he was having a party in there, he was like rocking and rolling, like the monitors were bouncing around, which was pretty cool. As of my last appointment with my OB, he was still very much breech. So I was looking at the Spinning Babies website, and it's kind of really overwhelming. There's a lot of information. There's a couple postures that I've been trying to get him to flip. My OB said that if he's not had down by my next appointment, which is my 36-week appointment, then we need to discuss what I want to do, which would be either scheduling an ECV where they manually turn them from the outside, or scheduling a C-section. I don't want to have a C-section unless I absolutely have to, but I also don't really want to have an ECV, so I would really like it if he would turn on his own. I might insert some pictures here of some of those things that they have me do. Put an ironing board up against your couch and lay on it upside down. Personally, I don't recommend this. It's called the breech tilt, and it's supposed to be the best way to turn them. Getting on an ironing board upside down when you are hugely pregnant is not easy. And at the same time, my dogs were like, "What are we doing, Mom? This is so cool." And they wouldn't stop kissing me, so I was like stuck halfway on the ironing board with dogs like all over my face. And I got them to calm down finally and actually got on the board. And then I just got slided down. And you're supposed to stay there for like 20 minutes, so I couldn't do that. Then I read that you could try stacking up like pillows and blankets at an angle on your bed. Did that, and that actually worked a lot better. So I do recommend that. He definitely moved yesterday, so I did that a couple of times, and I did where you put your knees up on the couch and your hands down on the ground, breathe, do 4 breaths, come back up, and do that 4 times. Did that a couple times yesterday. When I was doing those last night, I could feel him moving. I couldn't tell what he was doing, but I could feel him moving. And today, my stomach's kind of lopsided, like he's all to the left, and the movements in there feel different, but I can't tell if he's head down. So I don't want to keep doing, especially the breech tilt, and accidentally turn him back the other way. I think I'm going to wait until Thursday and see what my doctor says, and then if he's still breech, I guess schedule the ECV or whatever, and then keep doing the postures and hope that he turns before I have the procedure. I have an ultrasound next Wednesday, so a day before 37 weeks also. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. I guess maybe first some of the things pertaining to my apprehension about him being here. Some of the things, like my fears that I talked about last week. I am feeling much more accepting of the possibility of him coming early. I'm feeling less fear about him being here, although it's still out there. But it's less. I get really overwhelmed with my OB, like saying like if there's something seriously wrong, we'll take him now, and this is like a 33 weeks. No. And then even still now, like if I go to the specialist and my ultrasound, if they see any reason why they could decide that we got to take him at 37 weeks. And I want to keep him in here cooking as long as I possibly can. And I will get to some of the blood sugar stuff that worries me about them wanting to take him early as well. But I am in a place of feeling more acceptance that if that's what happens, that's what happens, and I will figure it out. I really think a lot of the apprehension has to do with things physically with my body. There's no way for me to know how it's going to look like with my body temperature and my energy, and that's all scary. Also, I've been thinking about it, and I think that part of my reluctance towards actually having him here is when he's in here, he's all mine. Like, I don't have to share him with anyone. Being able to share him, like, with his dad and with my family and stuff, that's a good thing. Like, it's a really good thing. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, it's really exciting to be able to do that, but at the same time, like I said before, I've waited 20 years for him, and it's also really nice that I don't have to share him with anyone right now. Like, he's mine. Like, nobody can take him and run off with him. He's just mine. And I like that. Okay, so also, like, I feel like because I'm having all of this fear, it's causing me to have fear about the fear when he's born. And even right now, like, with him inside of me, I don't want him to feel my apprehension. It's not him that I'm unsure of. I'm sure about him. It's me that I'm unsure of. Like, I feel like I still have things that I need to work through, and I don't want them to affect him. And I know, like, we all wound our children. I mean, unintentionally, the things that we have not yet worked through get passed down to them. Like, really, if I step back out of that, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't know how all of it works for sure, but to me it makes sense that we choose our lives, and before we are here, before we are born, we choose who's going to be our parents, and we choose the circumstances that we're going to go through according to what we would like to learn in this lifetime. So, you know, he wanted me to be his mom because he wanted to learn the things that he needs to learn from me being his mom. But that doesn't stop you from wanting to protect your children from everything, including yourself. Like, provided that he doesn't come too early. He's going to be a Pisces, and from what I read, Pisces aren't so good with the boundaries, and they like to put other people before themselves, and these are things that both Nick and I struggle with. I feel like I need to be able to model that for him, thinking a lot about the ways that I still need to heal and the ways that that can affect him. And I just love him so much already, and I want to do better for him. So enough of all that. I'm very overwhelmed. I'm very overwhelmed, very emotional. I actually ended up, like, yelling at my mom a little bit ago because she was trying to help, but she has a way of saying the worst things at the worst times when she's trying to help. There's a lot going on. I don't know what to do. I don't remember what day it was, but it must have been Thursday. That's when I had my appointment. I told my sister I'm really anxious. I was wondering if it might have something to do with the insulin. And she's like, or, you know, you're just anxious, which, true. Obviously, my anxiety has been higher lately because of all of that I talked in the last video and what I just talked about. But for the most part, I'm able to breathe through it and bring it down. It's not like I'm in a constant state of anxiety. That's how I was feeling, like, at my appointment. Like, I kept thinking, why do I feel so anxious? I always am anxious at the doctor's, but this was, like, different. Like, I felt like on the verge of tears. And then, like, by night, I was, like, feeling, like, panic. And I'm just chalking it up to, you know, like, something's wrong with me. You know, there was that question, could it be the insulin? Because it was the day after I upped it to 30. And then I think I did it at 30 for 3 or 4 days. And every day it kept getting worse. It was like panic, and like I couldn't breathe through it. And I think it was Saturday night. It was so bad. I was like, okay, I'm not taking it tonight, and I'm going to see what happens. I had been emailing my doctor what was happening, but because it was the weekend, I couldn't actually talk to her, and I didn't know what she would want me to do. So I stopped taking it, and it started to diminish. So to me, it seems pretty clear that it's related to the insulin. Then I was looking up side effects for the insulin pen that I have, and it does say that anxiety is possible. It's not one of the more common symptoms. Also, though, then I saw all kinds of, like, horrible reviews that people had their blood sugars well controlled on another insulin and had to switch to this one because of their insurance, and it was not controlling their blood sugar anymore, and they were having to take way more of it to be able to get it under control, if at all, and it's, like, notorious for side effects, which I also started feeling like I was getting a cold or flu, and when I stopped taking it, that disappeared, and that's one of the more common side effects. So I was emailing my doctor on my health account, and also then a weird thing happened. I stopped taking it, and with the exception of my morning number, all of my numbers got lower. Today they are high. And I think that's because I'm so stressed out. So I was like, that doesn't make sense to me either. Why would my numbers be higher on the insulin? So one day she messaged me back and just said she wouldn't expect anxiety from insulin, and she doesn't like my morning numbers being higher, and keep taking it. One thing, I feel completely unlistened to, like unheard. I understand that you would not expect anxiety from insulin, but it is listed in the side effects, so it is possible. And I'm telling you that this is abnormal. Like, what is happening is not just my normal anxiety, and it started when I upped it to 30, and it stopped when I stopped it. Also, when I'd had the appointment with her, she had said, because I don't go more than 4 hours without eating, it's really hard for her to know what my number should be in the morning. So I was confused as to why it's more important for her to get that number under 95 than to have the other numbers more controlled. The whole thing, I felt like she basically said, your experience, what's happening in your body, is not valid. Keep taking this, even though it may be harming you and your baby. Peace. So I messaged her back and I said that I'm not comfortable taking it at this point, and is there like another brand I could try? Because like I said, it's all over the internet that this one is basically junk. I didn't hear back from her, so I don't know. Maybe she wasn't working today, or maybe she just had a really busy day, or maybe she's just not going to answer me. So this leaves me like, I have no idea what to do. So my numbers are high today. So I feel like, should I just take it at a lower dose? Or I want to do what's best for him and for me. But I have no idea how to know what that is. And she's not giving me any help whatsoever. I've been basically bullied into taking various medications throughout my life when I felt like what was happening in my body was not right, and then I wasn't listened to, and like out of desperation because I didn't know what else to do, I'd take it, and every time it's ended up in disaster. One time it ended up in a hospitalization. So the thing with chronic fatigue syndrome and adrenal fatigue, sensitivity to medication is like a very common symptom. I regularly have side effects of medications, and it's not generally the typical ones, it's the scarier ones, the more uncommon ones. So to me it makes sense that that would happen. So then I'm like, I don't know if this is like an allergic reaction, or the thing that scared me the most is I was having a really hard time breathing, and that's like in the list. It's like, if you have difficulty breathing, stop using immediately. I said I was having difficulty breathing. She's like, keep taking it. Cool. Okay. So originally I was like thinking like, is this like an allergic reaction, or is it, you know, just some kind of other adverse reaction? But then last night my sister was doing some research about blood sugar, and she found this thing that we've never heard of. Both her and I have been diagnosed with chronic hypoglycemia. Her back in high school, me not until I got the chronic fatigue diagnosis. I was not diagnosed by looking at my blood sugar numbers, because in order to do that you have to fast for 8 hours, and I'm not able to do that. So my doctor, this is a more holistic doctor, which I don't go to anymore because they're really expensive, but he gave me the diagnosis based on my symptoms. My sister found this thing, it's called IPS, idiopathic postprandial syndrome. I think that this is what we have. This like basically sums up our life. I don't really know what causes it, but you have what appears to be a hypoglycemic reaction about 3 to 4 hours after eating a meal. but if you check your blood sugar, it's not actually low. It's not actually below 70. So I did not know until I was pregnant. I started checking mine, that mine doesn't go that low. For whatever reason, my camera keeps not wanting to capture this part. So, like I was saying, my sister had a procedure and she felt like her blood sugar was dropping, and it was checked and it was not low. But the lady who checked it deals with this, and she said that some people are just really sensitive to changes in blood sugar levels. So I think that me and my sister do not have true hypoglycemia, but IPS. This is actually really validating because it explains not why, but that our bodies are reacting in this way, and this is a thing that happens to people. The treatment is to eat less carbs and to not go more than 3 hours without eating, which is our life, like literally. So it makes me think, like, maybe it's not an allergic reaction to the insulin. Maybe it was a hypoglycemic reaction, even though my blood sugar was not low and I had eaten. If IPS is an extreme sensitivity to insulin and I'm injecting myself with insulin, it makes sense that my body would have an extreme reaction. So this makes me want to take this to this doctor and be like, hey, this is what I think is going on. But I don't think she's going to hear me. My experience with doctors is that if it's not something that they understand or something that they've heard of, they just dismiss it and call it all in your head. So yeah, I'm feeling really frustrated. Like, I also feel like this is helpful information for, like, when it comes time for me to be in labor and they don't want you to eat. And it's like, hey, no, this is a thing. My body literally can't go more than 3 hours without eating. But again, getting a doctor to listen to that, I don't know if that's going to happen. My OB's office has like a ton of doctors. I've only seen 2 of them. I see the same doctor every time except for once. One time I saw another lady and I didn't like her because she came across as judgmental and dismissive because I didn't agree with everything that she said. I took vitamin C for a cold and not Mucinex, and I mentioned that Mucinex is like taking like cocaine mixed with something that makes you feel really icky. Like, I can't take cold medicine, that's how I react to it. And then she acted like I was making things up. So yeah, I didn't like her. I do like the OB that I normally see, but I don't know that he would be super helpful because, one thing, he's funny and I like that. It makes me less anxious, but also he admits if he doesn't know something. Like, I feel like most doctors, they act like they know everything, and if it's something they don't know, you're wrong. It's not happening. It's not real. And he'll straight up say, I don't know. Like, this is not something that I know. So to me, that's a lot better. But that doesn't mean he's going to necessarily go to bat for me and be like, hey, she needs to eat. So I feel really frustrated and overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. Like, should I try the insulin at a lower dose? But then what if it is an allergic reaction or like some kind of adverse reaction that's like toxic in my body? Then I can't put that in me with him in me. When I'm not pregnant, I'm a lot more likely to experiment with things and see how my body reacts to it. But that's like experimenting with his life. Like, I feel like I should be able to talk to my doctor and be like, hey, this is what's happening. I know this isn't what normally happens, but here we are. How do we proceed from here? And I'm getting no response. Like I said, you know, maybe she didn't work today or she was really busy. Maybe she didn't have time to answer me. Maybe she'll answer me tomorrow. But that kind of feels less likely to me. I just really don't know what to do. I want to do what's best for him, and I don't know what that is. And I feel like I need help. Like, that's what doctors are supposed to be there for, because I'm just, a person. Like, I've researched things and I understand a lot about chronic illnesses because you have to do your own research, but that doesn't mean I know everything. I don't. And I really feel like I needed help with this, and I'm not getting any. I'm getting dismissed, and I don't know what to do. So yeah, that's that. If you listen to all my rambling, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Like, yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the bump shot. As always, thanks for watching. Comments, questions, video ideas, drop them below, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon.